Wow, I can remember the day now. My sister and I were sitting around and we were contemplating our situation, and we knew our mother was getting out of hand. Like it was just getting too much for either one of us to try to work or even to look after her. And her husband was getting older, and there's no way he could continue to handle it. He had health issues of his own. So we had to weigh out a situation, and I'm sure some of you are starting to contemplate this as you've researched and look into things. Whether to put your loved one into a home or whether to get assisted health care or assisted living people, home health care people to come and look after them. And so for us, it was just at the beginning of the whole planned medical event that took place. And being that I have been a student of not trusting the governmental systems running things now, as well as medical systems for good cause, we had to weigh out what the options were. Most people do not have the foreknowledge of the people that are in control of these, or basically in control of the medical community, and they don't realize. Now, some of this is going to come as a shock for the average person. I'm going to ask you to somewhat here trust the fact that I have been in-depth researching now for over 20 years these types of subjects and have written a book on the subject matter. I'm sure a lot of you are coming to the realization of what is going on with most of these systems, including pharma, including health care, which we call now sick care. So what I'm expressing to you is a foreknowledge of what we could be facing in this incident. So we weighed out the options. If we sent her, and you have to get, if you're going to do it, a lot of times you have to figure out if they're going to qualify to go to healthcare center, to go to assisted living place. They'll evaluate the capacity of their being able to live somewhat on their own, but just need certain assistance, or whether they're gone too far with their memory, and then they'll end up having to put them in a memory unit, it's called, with a whole lot more care. And the issues you run into this is the expense. Maybe the average cost per month, being the gigantic ripoff it is, $7,500 to $8,000. And if they go into a memory unit, it's going to jump up to $10,000 to $12,000. Which, if you start to evaluate these things, they're getting $100,000 a year to look after your loved one. But the issue is, if you have home, let's say you have assisted living for a while and somebody comes to your home, you may start out with assisted living, someone coming to your home, and only, like, if someone's living there, you may only need help for certain items. But as they progress from dementia to Alzheimer's, you may need then showering help. You may need changing of depends and things like that, because they're going to, not be able to clean themselves. And someone's going to have to do that. It may be you, or it may need, some kind of assisted living. And then if they progress, like our mother progressed, when the whole planned event took place, and we were like, there's no way we're putting our mother in a controlled center, because what happens is in this center, they literally started under under a medical type of tyranny, they began to violate the rights of not only the people living there, but the people wishing to visit their loved ones. They literally turned these places into intern camps, into prisons, where they couldn't leave, nor could you come visit them. You could stand outside like a prison or something, or talk to them through the lack of knowing what's going on in there with your loved one, and the inability for them to still recognize you or to receive love and hugs from you or a grandchild or anything like that. They literally created an environment which, if you know things like I know, the purpose was it is a escapism. Not the center itself wasn't in on this, but the people in control of kind of forcing these centers through threats of removing funds or who knows what. They want the old people gone. And I know this sounds like conspiracy stuff, but I'm sorry, this is the reality and the truth of the matter. If we don't turn things around in our corporate systems controlling things and governmental systems of what's going on, part of the agenda is to rid what they call useless eaters, your loved ones, including you someday as you age. So we had to factor this in. So we made this decision before any of this stuff started happening, because I said, this is what they're going to use these places for as they progress this. And sure enough, it was as bad or worse. There is even lawsuits, I guess, against the former governor of New York City for, causing the death of elderly people in these homes. So it's not even a conspiracy about this subject. It happened. And it's easy to predict how this will happen anymore when you know what the plan is. And the same thing goes for, you go in for, this is my opinion, by the way, if somebody try to sue you. You go in for cancer treatments. You go into the doctor for Alzheimer's information, or try to get it healed or something like that. And they offer you either protocol help. So if there is a cure, if there is something that will help, they will not tell you. Maybe a functional medicine doctor will help you, but the standard MD that you go to see for, thinking I'm desperate, when Alzheimer's, they're not going to give you any answers. They're going to tell you there's nothing much you can do. They will mention nothing about diet. Because we went to the doctors, and I would say the doctor's visits, for as much struggles as they were to get Mom there, they were a pointless waste of time, where I felt like I needed to send the doctor a bill for wasting our time, literally making a mockery of showing up there. That's how much help you're receiving. So I'll give you an example. I got sent a message today from a doctor who had revealed that how can I say this so that the algorithm won't pick this up? That these things that were being forced on people to go to work, and being forced on, trying to force kids going to school. Now, they came out and said publicly that you didn't need, for children weren't going to be affected by this planned event, and so they were safe. But then the message I got from the doctor was evidence showing that they were paying the companies who produce these. They were paying doctors $20,000 per percentage of children that they talked parents into getting these things. And then if they got up to a certain number of patients and a certain level percentage, like 86%, they could get up to $80,000 for doing that. And so the message was, this is why when parents went in or people went in and said, no, I'm against this, I'm not going to do this, they would tell them, I'm not going to see you as a patient anymore. So in case you're wondering, if there are, I'm not saying all of them, but if there are, if you're not getting answers for something, let it sink into your head that for money, there are people who will violate their Hippocratic oath and dismiss their conscience for humanity and violate their Hippocratic oath completely, going against it, and go into self-denial because they have a second ex-wife and children to pay for, or a new car, or a big home, or whatever's going on. They will do things for money and dismiss you as non-human, and like a corrupt attorney who begins to stop having normal, moral human behavior when it comes to circumstances and how to behave and treat other people. When you go into this doctor's office, it is possible at times you are just on a conveyor belt and there's literally no emotion towards you. They will treat you like an asshole as far as the way they talk to you or about the information they share with you. And this is not all doctors. Some are wonderful, but if they are still in this MD-controlled circumstance, there is pressure coming down from higher levels, and these higher levels can control them. Take your medical license, cause you not to get, certain monies, certain problems with stuff. Kind of like a downward tyranny cycle. But if you comply, they reward you with large amounts of money for things. So when it comes to this, Alzheimer's, I have not gotten full proof of this, but I can assure you that there has to be more answers out there medically, because it's like in England, I think it's the third leading cause of death. If there's not information reaching you, it's because they don't want it to reach you, because someone's profiting off of it, or they want you gone. And I'm leaning towards the fact that they want you gone. So moving on, the second part is choosing home health care. And this is something we decided to do because of what was going on at the time. And when someone in this condition cannot associate, talk to, or receive certain things, and they're in an unfamiliar environment, typically they decline even faster when they're not in their comfortable home, and they go to unfamiliar surroundings, and they typically don't live as long. Now you can weigh out, what things you're able to do in this circumstance, because sometimes you're just not able to take care of them. They live out of state. Who knows what the circumstances is? It's all tough. It's all very cruel. And, there's always, listen to me, there is always cures for everything. If something goes wrong with the body, there is something that will cure the body. And typically what I'm finding out is that if it doesn't involve a pharmaceutical drug and large profits, then you will not hear about this cure or this thing that could help make you better unless the only thing you're going to hear about, unless you're going to a functional doctor or holistic doctor or something, all you're going to find out about is what kind of treatments will profit the whoever's and will keep you alive with this problem for as long as possible to extract the most amount of money from you and your family or insurance. And that's about it. But the word cure is a very rare thing. So anyway, this is what we faced. I don't want to be a bummer on you about things. I just want to give you some awake time about how things work so that it can help you make some clear and understandable decisions on how to best help your loved one, because they will keep you in this cycle, this loop of come in for visits, see how they do, we'll test this, let's send them in for this, $8,000 scan, and then you'll go visit the neurologist who won't really give you any clear information and then basically tell you, well, there's nothing we can do. And you're like, well, why did we take them for this scan? Why did we do all of this? And just basically make a mockery of your time once again. So we chose home health. We chose home health because we could better monitor what was going on. We could have control of the staff and the people, and we could know what was going on all the time. She could continue to live in her home, and but granted, it is just as expensive as putting her in a home. It's very expensive, and it's terrible that there is no governmental assistance. There is nothing helping for a circumstance that I believe has been created either through when they were children and got a retro action, something that as you get older, your body can no longer fight off or keep at bay, and then it takes toll. Sometimes things are time released from these things. Combination of possible things on cookware, from nonstick cookware in the 70s and 80s, building up in the system. Things from the air being sprayed. This is a fact now. It's not, it's been admitted before Congress. It is a fact. Nanoparticles of aluminum are ending up on everything, breathing it in and in the soils. So it's getting into plants, and you're eating, and aluminum is causing these issues in the brain. And so all of these sorts of things on top of that, radio signals, Wi-Fi signals, all of these signals traveling through our body like a microwave are enhancing the reactions. Like imagine putting metal in a microwave. What happens? It creates sparks and irritation. So if these things are so tiny and they're passing the blood-brain barrier, and you're having microwaved, and that's what they are, they're microwaved metal particles reaching the brain. The body's protection mechanism is amyloid plaque to protect the nerves. And so anyway, this is not a medical time, but this is just things I've learned. So anyway, that's just a hint of things to get into, and perhaps a detoxification. That's just a hint in this particular one. So in choosing between the two, we chose home health care because that was our option. And we chose that because we could control better the staff taking care of our mother. It was typically the same 3 or 4 people, as opposed to putting her in a home, and you get whatever hiree, somebody who didn't make it into the hospital as a nurse gets hired here to work, and they may not treat them as kindly. So this is why we chose home health care. You may not be able to do that. So I would recommend just looking into what your best options might be as far as ratings. And if there's complaints from staff, make sure you look at that, because from management down, old people with Alzheimer's and dementia can't express to you if something bad is happening to them. They're like children. So it is a tough thing. We've managed this long with home health care. If she slips any worse into things, they won't be able to manage her. She'll have to go into a home or something. So anyway, this is Dan Collier from Alzheimer's and Love. I have a series. My sister and I have created a series of teachings on this subject, more in depth, going into things maybe I can't talk about on here, or things you can have all in one group. So it is a teaching series we have created, and we're waiting on the editors to finish it up. But if you want to get a course, the set of courses on how to, what we have experienced over almost 5 years now with our mother slipping from dementia to Alzheimer's, all the things we've gone through, the recommendations, the things you should know, things that you won't get told on YouTube and stuff like that. People just aren't talking about it. There's not a whole lot of information. And so we created this through Alzheimer's and Love, a series of courses to help guide you and instruct you so that you'll have some answers. You can make some more clear decisions. You can understand that somebody else has gone through these types of situations. And these are things from legal stuff about, getting powers of attorneys for what reasons, what to do with their car and car keys, and just all the stressors of things you don't know are going to pop up or going to start popping up. And if you know beforehand how to deal with it, it will save you an innumerable amount of stress, heartache, and even financial issues where, like I've mentioned before, you can have family members come in and try to get their names on wills. You can have, people call and try to extort money. You have to watch out for certain attorneys even. Everyone now recognizes old people, dementia, and being open game to stealing from them. And you need to take precautions as well. So we cover this in the courses. So if you'd like to get that, we'll leave a link in the description. For a donation, you can get these courses and help. The donation goes to help us spread this word, help getting information out, produce these videos, because it can get quite expensive, and the powers that be don't necessarily want you to know certain information because it reaches into their pocket. So they want you only to know the standard protocol, irregardless of the suffering it may cause you. They're going to keep repeating this information, and we're trying to give you some alternative answers that will help. All right. Hope you enjoyed this. Sorry about rambling on about other subject matter, but some of you have gone through this long enough will know what I'm talking about. And I'm in one of these videos, I'm going to cover some dietary things they don't mention that have helped some people with dementia and Alzheimer's, but you got to catch stuff early before things get too bad, of course. So anyway, check out the link below. I hope these series, I have several videos and there can be more to come. I'm going to produce quite a few of them to keep you informed. So be sure to subscribe to this channel too. I'm not sure if YouTube will keep sending you, but the way the algorithm works now, but subscribe to it. Hopefully it'll keep you in the loop where you can go in and find more information. We'll have more videos to come, and there's a series already started, so you can click on our channel and find the other videos as well. I think in the description we'll put a list of the videos too, so you can just go into the description, click on those. All right, see you soon.